Ren adjusted the controls of his small exploration craft as it descended through the violet clouds of Lyra 9. The planet was larger than Earth, with mountains that glimmered like glass and rivers that glowed softly in shades of blue and green. Ren's heart raced with excitement. This was his first solo mission to a planet known to harbor intelligent life, and he could feel the energy of discovery vibrating in the air. As the craft touched down on a wide plateau, Ren stepped out and took a deep breath. The air was crisp and carried a faint floral scent, unlike anything on Earth. Strange, delicate plants swayed as if greeting him. Some of the flowers floated above the ground, supported by thin threads of light that pulsed gently. Ren knelt to touch one, marveling at the way it shimmered beneath his fingers. The planet felt alive, almost as if it was watching him. Ren had read every report about Lyra 9. The planet was rich in rare crystals, some with energy properties that could change the course of technology back on Earth. But the greatest mystery was its inhabitants. Reports described them as intelligent, graceful, and unusually attuned to their environment. No human had ever interacted with them directly, and Ren wondered if he would be the first. He began walking toward a forest of crystal trees. Each tree reflected light in soft rainbows, and their leaves chimed with a musical sound when the wind blew. Ren paused to listen. The harmony was unlike any music he had ever heard. He realized that every movement of the plants, every ripple in the glowing streams, seemed intentional, like the planet itself was communicating. Ren continued deeper into the forest. Birds with translucent wings darted through the branches, and small animals with glowing eyes peeked from behind the crystals. He moved slowly, careful not to disturb anything. It was a delicate ecosystem, and he knew that even a small mistake could have consequences. Despite the danger, Ren felt a strange comfort here. Everything was peaceful, and yet, there was a sense of anticipation. Hours passed as Ren explored. He documented the flora, studied the rivers, and marveled at the way the light played across every surface. Then, he noticed movement among the crystals ahead. A figure was standing near a river, partially hidden by a crystal bush. Ren froze. The figure was unlike anything he had seen before. It was tall and elegant, with smooth, luminescent skin that reflected the colors of the environment. Its eyes were large and curious, observing Ren without fear. Ren's breath caught in his throat. This was not just a member of Lyra 9's species, this was someone important, someone of status. The figure turned slightly, and Ren could see a delicate crown-like pattern on its head. It must be royalty. Ren took a cautious step forward. He raised his hands in a gesture of peace, remembering the protocols he had learned. The figure watched silently, tilting its head in curiosity. Ren smiled nervously. "Hello. My name is Ren. I come in peace. I mean no harm." The figure made a soft sound, melodic and gentle. Ren wasn't sure if it was speech, but somehow he felt that the meaning was clear. The alien was curious, interested in him but cautious. Ren realized that he would have to earn its trust. For several minutes, Ren and the figure simply observed each other. The alien moved with grace, stepping lightly across the crystal floor, while Ren stayed still, careful not to startle it. Slowly, Ren reached into his pack and produced a small notebook filled with sketches and symbols. He showed the figure drawings of Earth, of people, of simple machines. The alien's eyes widened with interest. The figure extended a hand, and Ren realized it wanted to show him something in return. It moved closer to the river, pointing at the water. Crystals beneath the surface began to glow brighter, forming shapes and patterns that seemed like a story. Ren watched, amazed. The alien was sharing knowledge, showing him the beauty and complexity of Lyra 9. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the crystal forest, Ren felt a mix of awe and gratitude. He knew this was the beginning of something extraordinary. He had come seeking knowledge, and he had found a living mystery more fascinating than anything he could have imagined. Ren set up a small camp near the river, careful to leave no trace. From the edge of the forest, he could still see the figure watching him, eyes glinting with curiosity and intelligence. Ren lay down, staring at the sky as twin moons rose. He thought about the adventure ahead, the secrets Lyra 9 held, and the possibility that he had just met someone who would change everything. The first day on Lyra 9 had ended, but Ren knew that tomorrow would bring new discoveries, new challenges, and perhaps, the start of a friendship that would cross worlds. He closed his eyes, feeling the hum of the planet beneath him, and drifted into a hopeful sleep. The next morning, Ren woke to the soft glow of Lyra 9's twin suns rising over the crystal forest. Light danced across the floating plants, creating colors he could not name. He stretched and packed his camp carefully, eager to explore more of the mysterious planet. But today, he felt a strange sense of anticipation. The figure he had seen yesterday was still in his mind. Who was it? And why did Ren feel an unusual pull toward meeting it? He moved quietly through the crystal trees, careful not to disturb the delicate balance of the forest. Birds with translucent wings darted overhead, and tiny glowing animals peeked from behind the plants. Ren followed a winding path toward the river where he had first glimpsed the figure. He had a feeling that something important awaited him there. As he approached the river, Ren saw movement among the crystals. This time, the figure was clearer. It was a female alien, graceful and tall, with skin that shimmered like polished stone. Her eyes were large and bright, reflecting the morning light in colors Ren had never seen before. She carried a small, intricate instrument made of crystal, and she was playing soft, melodic tones that seemed to make the crystals around her vibrate gently. Ren stopped, not wanting to interrupt. He watched in awe as the music filled the air, blending with the natural sounds of the planet. The way she moved was elegant, almost like a dance, and Ren realized that every note she played had a purpose. The music was more than sound, it was a story, a message, and a greeting all at once. Suddenly, she paused and looked directly at him. Ren froze. Their eyes met, and he felt a wave of warmth and curiosity radiating from her. He remembered to keep his hands visible and raised slightly, a universal sign of peace. "Hello," Ren said gently. "My name is Ren. I mean no harm. I want to learn about your world." The alien tilted her head, listening. Then, she made a soft, musical sound. Ren was not sure what it meant, but somehow he understood. Her tone was calm and inviting. She seemed curious, not afraid. Slowly, she stepped closer, her movements fluid and careful, like water flowing over stones. Ren could see the crown-like pattern on her head, delicate and intricate, glowing faintly. He realized she must be someone important, perhaps royalty. Ren wanted to communicate, but words alone would not be enough. He opened his notebook and carefully showed her sketches of Earth, humans, and the stars. The alien's eyes widened, and her lips curved in a faint, almost shy smile. She reached out and touched the pages lightly, her fingers leaving a soft, glowing trail as she explored the drawings. Ren felt a sense of connection forming, even without a shared language. Then she motioned toward her instrument and gestured for Ren to sit beside her. Hesitant but intrigued, Ren obeyed. The moment he did, the music shifted. The tones became gentler, weaving around him in patterns that made his heart feel calm and curious at the same time. He realized that the music was a form of conversation. She was telling him about the river, the forest, and the creatures of Lyra 9. Each note carried meaning, and Ren listened closely, trying to understand. Hours passed in this quiet exchange. Ren showed her how humans draw, paint, and tell stories, while she taught him to read the music of Lyra 9. Crystals on the riverbank responded to her melodies, glowing brighter or dimming as she expressed different emotions. Ren laughed softly at the beauty of it all. He had expected to study a planet, but instead, he was learning directly from its most precious inhabitant. By midday, Rin felt a strange but pleasant exhaustion. He realized that he had been in the alien princess's presence for hours, yet he felt energized rather than tired. She looked at him again, eyes bright and curious. Rin smiled and bowed slightly in respect. She mirrored his gesture, a soft sound escaping her lips, like a note in a song. Rin felt a gentle warmth spread through him. He had never met anyone like her before. As the twin suns began to rise higher in the sky, Rin knew he could not leave. This meeting was just the beginning. There was so much to learn, and so much to understand about her, her people, and the world they lived in. He wondered how a bond could grow between two beings from completely different worlds, yet somehow, today, it already had. Rin packed his things but stayed close to the river. The princess returned to her music, and Rin listened, feeling the unique rhythm of Lyra 9. He thought about how incredible it was to meet someone so different, so special, and yet so full of curiosity and warmth. In that moment, he understood that the adventure of discovery was not just about exploring a planet, it was about discovering a friend, a guide, and perhaps something even more meaningful. As he finally turned to leave, Rin whispered softly to himself, "Tomorrow, I will learn more." And deep down, he felt that tomorrow would bring a connection he had never imagined, a friendship that could change everything. The following morning, Rin returned to the river where he had met Princess Nira. The crystal forest glowed softly under the twin suns, and the air smelled sweet with the scent of floating flowers. Rin felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Meeting Nira yesterday had been extraordinary, but today he wanted to learn more about her and her world. As Rin approached, Nira was already there, her delicate fingers moving over the strings of her crystal instrument. The music rippled through the river, causing the floating crystals to shimmer and hum. She noticed Rin and paused, tilting her head in recognition. Rin waved and smiled. Nira responded with a soft, musical sound that felt like a greeting. Rin sat carefully on a smooth crystal rock, opening his notebook. He had prepared sketches of simple human inventions, stories, and maps of Earth. Nira watched with curiosity, leaning closer to examine his drawings. Rin explained the sketches with simple gestures and short words, pointing to himself and then to the drawings. "This is where I live," he said, tracing a circle on the map. "Humans make tools. Humans make stories. Humans dream." Nira's eyes widened with wonder. She reached out to touch the sketches, leaving a faint glow where her fingers had brushed the paper. Rin realized that her people could sense more than just sight and sound, they could feel emotions through touch. This made the interaction more personal and meaningful. Then Nira gestured to the forest. She plucked a crystal leaf and held it above the river. The leaf vibrated and reflected light in patterns that looked like symbols. Rin watched closely, fascinated. He understood that Nira was showing him a story of Lyra 9, of how her people lived in harmony with the planet and its resources. The way she communicated was different, but beautiful. Rin wanted to share more. He opened his notebook to a page of sketches showing humans painting, building simple machines, and playing music. He picked up a small musical device from his bag and demonstrated a simple tune. Nira tilted her head, listening intently. Her eyes sparkled, and then she tried to reproduce the sounds using her instrument. The music that followed was soft and melodic, carrying the emotion of curiosity and joy. Rin clapped softly, impressed by her ability to learn quickly. Hours passed as they exchanged knowledge. Rin taught Nira about Earth's landscapes, animals, and human inventions. Nira shared the secrets of Lyra 9's crystal forests, the floating rivers, and the creatures that could glow in the dark. Rin marveled at the harmony of her world, how every element seemed connected. He realized that humans and Lyrans had much to learn from each other. At one point, Rin pointed to a sketch of the night sky filled with stars. Nira looked up at the twin suns, then back at the drawing. She made a soft humming sound, and the crystals around them shimmered to form constellations, mirroring the night sky on Earth. Rin's heart lifted. Here, across galaxies, they were sharing dreams through art, music, and light. Nira then led Rin to a small grove he had not seen before. The ground was covered with crystals that responded to touch and thought. When Rin stepped carefully among them, he noticed that each crystal emitted a tone that harmonized with Nira's music. She smiled, and Rin understood that this was how her people learned and communicated. The forest itself was alive with knowledge, and Nira was its guide. As the sun moved higher, Rin and Nira sat together by the riverbank, catching their breaths. Rin realized he had never felt so connected to anyone before. Despite the differences in their worlds, their curiosity and respect for each other bridged the gap. He admired Nira's patience, intelligence, and grace. Nira, in turn, seemed drawn to Rin's courage, creativity, and gentle nature. Rin hesitated for a moment, then asked softly, "Will you teach me more tomorrow?" Nira's eyes glowed faintly, and she made a soft melodic sound that Rin interpreted as agreement. He smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. For the first time on Lyra 9, Rin did not feel like a visitor. He felt like he belonged, at least in the presence of Nira. As Rin prepared to leave for the day, he noticed that Nira was still playing her instrument, but the melody now seemed infused with a sense of anticipation. Rin knew that their connection was growing stronger. He looked back at her one last time and whispered to himself, "There is so much to learn, and so much more to discover together." The crystal forests seemed to hum in agreement, the river reflecting the twin suns like two golden mirrors. Rin left with a sense of excitement and hope. He knew that tomorrow would bring new lessons, new stories, and perhaps a deeper bond with the princess who had already begun to change the way he saw the universe. Rin had been on Lyra 9 for several days, learning more from Princess Nira and exploring the crystal forests. Each day brought new wonders: the rivers that glowed with living light, the floating flora that hummed softly, and the creatures that moved like living jewels. Rin felt at home here, and he knew that Nira's people had trusted him in ways no one else on Earth could imagine. But that peace did not last. One afternoon, as Rin and Nira walked along a crystal ridge overlooking the main city, a strange vibration ran through the ground. The crystals beneath their feet pulsed rapidly, and the glowing rivers shifted color from soft blues to urgent reds. Nira froze, her eyes widening with concern. Rin noticed the change and felt a sudden tension in the air. Something was wrong. From the horizon, dark shapes appeared. Sleek, metallic ships cut through the sky, their engines glowing ominously. They did not belong to Lyra 9. Rin's heart raced. He had read about rival alien factions, but he had hoped Lyra 9 would never face such danger. The ships hovered over the floating cities, scanning the ground with harsh beams of light. Panic began to ripple through the Lyran inhabitants as they noticed the intruders. Nira's voice was steady but firm. "They have come for the crystals. They want to take them and harm our planet." Rin listened carefully, realizing that these invaders would not leave without a fight. He knew that the Lyran's advanced technology was beautiful, but it might not be enough against these aggressive newcomers. Rin took a deep breath. He had not come to Lyra 9 for war, but he was determined to help. Using his knowledge of Earth tactics and his understanding of Nira's people, he began to suggest ways to protect the planet. "We can use the river paths," he said, pointing toward the glowing streams. "If we redirect the light patterns, it can confuse their sensors. And we can set traps using the crystals; they respond to movement and energy. We can slow them down." Nira listened carefully, her eyes reflecting a mixture of trust and admiration. She nodded and began to organize her people. Lyran engineers and guardians moved quickly, following Rin's guidance. He felt a surge of determination. He might be human, small in comparison to these advanced beings, but his ideas could make a difference. The invaders moved closer. Their ships descended, sending drones to scan the forests and rivers. Rin and Nira worked side by side, coordinating the Lyran's defenses. Rin guided the placement of energy crystals to create illusions, while Nira used her music to manipulate the flow of light, sending warning signals and confusing the intruders. It was a delicate balance, but together they began to slow the enemy advance. Rin noticed Nira's focus and grace under pressure. Her fingers moved over the crystal instrument, producing melodies that seemed to touch the very essence of Lyra 9. The rivers responded, the floating flora swayed to shield the cities, and the energy patterns created a protective barrier. Rin felt awe and admiration for her strength and intelligence. He realized that courage was not just about action, it was about using knowledge, creativity, and heart to protect what mattered. Hours passed in this tense battle of strategy and ingenuity. The invaders were persistent, but Rin's ideas, combined with Nira's guidance, turned the tide. The enemy ships faltered, their drones trapped in illusions and disrupted by the energy patterns of the crystals. Slowly, the invaders began to retreat, realizing that Lyra 9 could not be taken easily. When the last ship vanished over the horizon, a cheer rose from the Lyran citizens. Rin and Nira stood together on the crystal ridge, watching the twin suns reflect on the rivers below. The city was safe, the forests unharmed, and the energy of the planet returned to its calm, radiant rhythm. Rin felt exhaustion, but also pride. He had never imagined that he could protect an alien world, yet here he was. Nira turned to Rin, her eyes shining. "You have helped us in ways I did not expect. You are brave, Rin." Rin felt a warmth spread through him at her words. He shook his head modestly. "I only help because I care. This world is incredible, and so are the people in it." For the first time, Rin felt that he truly belonged on Lyra 9. Not just as a visitor or explorer, but as someone who could make a difference. Nira smiled softly, and Rin noticed the gentle glow on her cheeks. It was a moment of connection, a quiet acknowledgement that they had faced danger together and had come out stronger. As the day ended, Rin and Nira walked back toward the river, side by side. The crystal forest hummed a soft, celebratory melody, as if the planet itself was grateful. Rin knew that their bond had grown deeper through this challenge. He also knew that more adventures awaited. Lyra 9 was full of mysteries, and now, more than ever, he wanted to explore them with Nira by his side. That night, Rin looked up at the twin moons of Lyra 9 and whispered quietly, "We can face anything together." The soft glow of the crystals reflected his words, promising that courage, friendship, and trust could bridge any distance, even between worlds. The danger from the invaders had passed, and Lyra 9 was alive with celebration. The twin suns shone warmly over the crystal cities, and every street, bridge, and floating garden sparkled with light. It was the season of the Festival of Lights, a time when the Lyrans honored their planet, their history, and the connections they shared with one another. Rin followed Princess Nira through the streets, his eyes wide with wonder. Lanterns made of glowing crystal floated above them, casting soft rainbows across the walkways. Music filled the air, soft and harmonious, blending with the natural hum of Lyra 9 itself. Nira's delicate hands moved gracefully, guiding the floating lanterns to follow her, creating patterns in the sky that resembled flowers, stars, and constellations. "This festival is very special," Nira said, her voice melodic and soft. Rin nodded, mesmerized by the beauty surrounding them. "It celebrates the light inside all living things," she explained. Rin smiled. He understood that it was not just a festival of colors and music, but also a festival of trust, friendship, and hope. As they walked, Nira introduced Rin to members of her family and the citizens of Lyra 9. Everyone greeted him warmly, curious about the human who had helped protect their planet. Rin bowed politely, feeling a sense of belonging he had never experienced on Earth. He realized that he was not just a visitor, he was now part of something larger, a story that belonged to Lyra 9 itself. The festival continued into the evening. Floating platforms over the rivers displayed glowing creatures, shimmering like living jewels. Crystals responded to music, changing colors and patterns in perfect harmony. Rin laughed as he watched the creatures play, feeling a joy he had never known. He glanced at Nira, who was smiling softly, her eyes reflecting the twinkling lights. He felt a warmth in his chest that was both thrilling and confusing. Nira led him to a quiet area near a cliff that overlooked the entire city. The rivers below reflected the floating lights like mirrors, and the crystal forests shimmered with a soft glow. Rin could hear the music of the festival, but here it was calmer, peaceful, and magical. Nira motioned for him to sit beside her. Rin obeyed, feeling a gentle nervousness. He wanted to say something important but did not know how. He admired Nira's elegance, intelligence, and courage. He had seen her face danger with strength and grace, guided her people with wisdom, and now she was showing him a side of her world that was intimate and beautiful. Rin realized that he felt more than friendship toward her, but he was unsure if she felt the same. Nira seemed to sense his thoughts. She reached out her hand slightly, letting her fingers brush against his notebook. Rin took a deep breath, trying to calm the fluttering in his chest. He looked at the patterns of light reflected in her eyes and thought about how much she had taught him about her world and its beauty. Then he whispered softly, more to himself than to her, "You are amazing, Nira." She looked at him, her eyes widening slightly, and a soft glow spread across her skin. Rin felt a jolt of happiness and embarrassment at the same time. Nira made a gentle musical sound, tilting her head as if responding without words. Rin realized that she understood his admiration. Her people communicated not only through speech but through emotion and music, and this simple moment had conveyed more than words ever could. The festival around them continued, but Rin and Nira remained focused on each other. They shared stories, laughs, and quiet observations. Rin told her about his family back on Earth, about the mountains and oceans, and she responded with tales of Lyra IX's history, the creation of the floating cities, and the wisdom of her ancestors. Each story built a bridge between their worlds, and Rin felt that bridge growing stronger with every moment. As the twin moons began to rise, casting silver light over the city, Nira pointed toward the horizon. Lanterns floated higher into the sky, forming a massive constellation of glowing shapes. Rin watched in awe. The festival was more than celebration, it was a display of harmony, hope, and unity. He understood that Lyra IX's beauty came not just from its crystals or rivers, but from the hearts of its people. Rin turned to Nira once more. "This is incredible," he said softly. She smiled, her cheeks glowing faintly. Rin felt a mixture of admiration and something new, something warm and deep. He realized that his connection with Nira had grown beyond curiosity and friendship. The festival had not only shown him the wonders of Lyra IX but also the unique bond he shared with her. As the night continued, Rin promised himself that he would learn more, explore more, and protect more. But most importantly, he wanted to nurture the friendship and trust he had found in Nira. Lyra IX had given him wonder, challenge, and now a deep connection that crossed the boundaries of worlds. The Festival of Lights ended with a grand display of colors that filled the sky. Rin and Nira sat side by side, watching the glow fade into the night, feeling the silent promise of many adventures to come. In that moment, Rin knew that his journey on Lyra IX was only beginning, and that with Nira by his side, every day would hold new discoveries, beauty, and perhaps something even more magical. The Festival of Lights had faded into memory, but the glow of Lyra IX's crystals remained bright in Rin's mind. He walked through the quiet crystal forest, feeling the soft hum of the rivers beneath his feet. The day had been full of celebration, but tonight he felt something different, a mixture of excitement and nervousness. He knew he wanted to express something he had felt for a long time, but he did not know how. Nira appeared among the glowing trees, her presence gentle and radiant. She carried her crystal instrument, though she was not playing. Instead, she walked with a calm grace, her eyes scanning the forest as if reading every detail. When she noticed Rin, a soft glow spread across her skin, like a reflection of her inner curiosity and warmth. Rin's heart raced. He felt that tonight was the right moment to share what had been growing inside him. They walked together to a cliff overlooking the rivers and floating cities below. The lights of the city shimmered like stars reflected on water, and the twin moons of Lyra 9 bathed the forest in silver. Ren felt a quiet courage rising in him. The planet had taught him much, about bravery, about trust, and about the power of connection. He realized that he could not leave this moment unspoken. Nira sat on a smooth crystal rock, and Ren carefully sat beside her. The forest was calm, the only sound the soft hum of the glowing rivers and the distant melodies of crystal birds. Ren glanced at Nira, noticing the gentle curve of her smile and the way her eyes reflected the twin moons. He took a deep breath, feeling the words form in his mind. "You are beautiful," Ren whispered softly, his voice carrying more than just sound. With Nira's empathic abilities, the words seemed to reach her heart as much as her ears. He did not intend to impress her, only to share the truth of what he felt. His heart pounded, but he felt a quiet honesty in the moment. Nira froze for a moment, her large eyes wide in surprise. Then, a soft glow spread across her cheeks, a blush of emotion that Ren could see even in the dim moonlight. Her skin shimmered gently, reflecting her delight and embarrassment. She did not speak, but the soft melodic sound she made conveyed her feelings perfectly. Ren realized that she understood him completely, in a way that transcended words. The forest seemed to respond to the moment. Crystals near them vibrated softly, casting tiny rainbows across their faces. The rivers reflected the twin moons with a gentle shimmer, as if Lyra 9 itself was celebrating their connection. Ren felt a warmth in his chest, a mixture of joy, relief, and hope. This moment was more than admiration, it was a bond, delicate yet strong, between two beings from different worlds. Nira reached out, her hand brushing Ren's gently. The touch was electric yet comforting, filled with trust and curiosity. Ren smiled softly, feeling a connection deeper than he had imagined possible. They shared a quiet laugh, a sound that blended with the soft hum of the forest and the distant music of Lyra 9's creatures. For a moment, the universe seemed to shrink around them, leaving only the two of them and the magic of the planet. They talked without words, using gestures, music, and shared thought. Nira showed Ren the patterns of light she could create with her crystal instrument, and Ren responded with small sketches in his notebook. Each exchange was filled with laughter, wonder, and the subtle warmth of a growing bond. Ren realized that their friendship had blossomed into something more, a connection built on admiration, trust, and mutual understanding. As the night deepened, Ren looked at Nira, his heart full. "I want to learn everything about you," he whispered, "not just about her world, but about her, her thoughts, and her dreams." Nira's eyes glowed faintly in response, and she leaned slightly closer, a gentle acceptance of the words he shared. Ren felt that their hearts were speaking together, a quiet harmony stronger than any music or story he had known. Finally, they sat in silence, watching the twin moons rise higher in the sky. Ren held the notebook loosely in his lap, feeling the energy of Lyra 9 around him. He knew that this moment would stay with him forever, the first time he had shared his true feelings and seen them reflected back with warmth and understanding. The planet, the stars, and the glowing rivers seemed to hold their breath in respect for the quiet magic of connection. Nira rested her hand lightly on Ren's arm, a simple gesture that spoke volumes. Ren smiled, feeling a deep sense of happiness and belonging. He understood now that love, admiration, and friendship could cross the boundaries of worlds. They did not need the same language or form, they only needed honesty, courage, and an open heart. As they finally rose to leave the cliff, Ren knew that this was only the beginning. Lyra 9 held countless mysteries, adventures, and challenges ahead. But with Nira by his side, he felt ready to face them all. And in the quiet of the crystal forest, under the twin moons, Ren whispered to himself with a sense of certainty and joy, "This is just the start of something incredible." The days after Ren's whispered words passed quickly. Lyra 9 returned to its peaceful rhythm, with the rivers glowing softly and the crystal forests humming gentle melodies. The invaders were gone, and the citizens celebrated their renewed freedom and harmony. Rin and Nira spent every moment together, exploring the forests, learning from each other, and deepening the connection that had begun with curiosity and admiration. One morning, a Lyran elder approached Rin and Nira. The elder's presence was calm but commanding. "Rin," the elder said in a melodic tone, "your courage and wisdom have protected Lyra 9. The planet recognizes your bond with its people. But soon, you must decide, will you return to your world, or will you remain here?" Rin felt a sudden weight in his chest. Earth was home. His family, his friends, and the life he had known waited for him. Yet, Lyra 9 had changed him. The beauty of the planet, the trust of its people, and the friendship and now deeper bond with Nira had become an essential part of who he was. How could he leave this world and the princess who had become so important to him? He turned to Nira. Her eyes glowed softly, reflecting both curiosity and concern. "Rin, whatever you choose, I will respect it," she said. Rin smiled, feeling the warmth of her understanding. "I don't want to leave," he admitted quietly. "I want to stay. I want to protect this planet and be with you." Nira's expression brightened, and she reached out to take his hand. The warmth of her touch sent a ripple of calm through Rin. "Then stay," she said. "Lyra 9 welcomes you, as do I." Rin felt a surge of relief and joy. He realized that the planet itself had become a part of him, and Nira's presence made it feel complete. Together, Rin and Nira began to plan how they would help Lyra 9 flourish. Rin shared ideas inspired by Earth's knowledge, ways to improve communication, simple technology to support the Lyrans, and strategies to strengthen defenses without harming the planet. Nira taught him the deeper secrets of Lyra 9, the energy of the rivers, the music of the crystals, and the harmony that connected every living thing. Their partnership became a blend of human creativity and alien wisdom. The citizens watched them with admiration. Rin had arrived as an outsider, a stranger from a distant world, yet he had earned their trust and respect. Nira's guidance and his courage had saved the planet from danger. Together, they symbolized a bridge between worlds, showing that friendship and unity could transcend differences. Days turned into weeks. Rin adapted to life on Lyra 9, learning to move among the floating forests, communicate with the energy of the crystals, and understand the subtle language of the planet. Nira and Rin spent long hours sharing knowledge, laughter, and quiet moments. Rin realized that adventure was not only about discovery but also about the bonds forged along the way. One evening, Rin and Nira stood on a cliff overlooking the twin rivers as the suns began to set. The sky glowed in shades of pink and gold, and the floating crystals shimmered like stars. Rin looked at Nira, his heart full of gratitude and admiration. "Lyra 9 is amazing," he said softly. "But being here with you makes it perfect." Nira smiled, her cheeks glowing faintly with warmth. "And being here with you shows me the beauty of another world. You have taught us courage, creativity, and friendship. You are part of Lyra 9 now." Rin felt a gentle pride, knowing that he had found his place not just on a planet, but in the heart of someone extraordinary. As the twin moons rose, casting silver light over the crystal forests, Rin and Nira held hands, watching the reflection of stars on the rivers below. The planet hummed softly, a lullaby of harmony and hope. Rin understood that his life had changed forever. He was no longer just a human explorer, he was a protector, a learner, and a friend to an alien princess who had shown him the meaning of connection across worlds. Lyra 9 thrived under their care. The rivers sparkled brighter, the forests glowed with energy, and the citizens felt the security of a planet protected by both human ingenuity and Lyran wisdom. Rin and Nira's bond became a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in the vastness of the universe, friendship and love could flourish between the most different beings. On quiet nights, Rin and Nira would sit together under the twin moons, sharing stories of Earth and Lyra 9, imagining future adventures, and watching the crystal lights reflect in each other's eyes. Every moment held the promise of discovery, beauty, and connection. Rin knew that no matter what challenges came, he would face them with Nero by his side. And so, the story of Rin and Nero became part of Lyra 9's history. It was a story of courage, trust, and the power of a bond that could cross galaxies. Rin had arrived as a visitor from a distant world, but he stayed as a friend, protector, and companion to an alien princess. Together, they showed that the universe was full of wonder, and that even across worlds, hearts could meet, understand, and grow. As the crystal forests glimmered beneath the twin moons, Rin whispered softly, "This is only the beginning." Nero squeezed his hand gently, and together they looked forward to a future filled with light, adventure, and the extraordinary bond they had discovered.